TJ, it's been a while, but I know we've been watching Optic, the rise of Optic and the domination of dynasty Optic has built. But I'm just gonna throw this out to you right now. If Optic struggles and gets ousted from the tournament this year again, I mean, are we going to see some major changes upon the horizon of Optic? I mean, because this will be the third straight year that Optic has struggled. And, I mean, who's to say that the ascension has lasted a long time? I'm just throwing this out there, TJ. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. But, I mean, from time to time, we've seen Optic have trouble when they were in the tournament. And, I mean, as good and dominant as Optic has been, if they struggle, could this be the year that Optic makes the changes and they turn the cheek and maybe turn the page and reset the lineup? I mean, it's been a long, illustrious career for Optic. I mean, if you look at it, ever since I've been at ESPN, the Optic has been on top. But could this be the year when Optic comes out and just collapses under the pressure and they have to make wholesale changes? I mean, TJ, do you believe this could happen?
Well, Chris, that's the thing about Optic right now. The way they've been playing the game for the last 7 or 8 years, the way they've been dominating the championships, one has to wonder if the time has run out on Optic and if they decide to make wholesale changes, if they will revamp the lineup through the draft, through the eSport draft, or whether they'll sign some potent, valuable free agents. Now, we don't know what's going on, but I can tell you one thing for sure, Chris. There's a bunch of free agent shooters out there that can really help Optic out if they decide to make this transition over into the Endeavors and they decide to rebuild the roster through the draft. They can translate it well into there. But I'm telling you right now, Chris, the way this draft is set up right now, there's no way Optic can actually fail to be a great team once again if they do in fact lose today.
Well, Tom, I'm saying if Optic does fold up under pressure and they have to make wholesale changes, who do you think in mind would take over as the manager of Optic? I'm just saying. I know it's far-fetched and everything, but as far-fetched as it sounds, Optic has had their problems in the past when it comes down to tournament play. I'm just throwing it out there right now. I'm not going to say it's going to happen for sure, but if it does happen, who's going to take over Optic? It's a sensible question, and it's a question that may have to be asked. At this juncture. But if Optic does struggle when they lose, the question is, who will ultimately take over Optic? That is what we're going to be sitting here thinking about. And as we go to commercial break right now, it's just a question we...
Well, from the leader at Optic right now, they were talking about drafting Jimmy Swarkenser out of Utah. He's been playing Call of Duty for 15 years, and the way he has the game set up right now, if Optic does lose and they go with Jimmy Swarkenser, there is absolutely no way in hell that Optic will ever have a losing franchise. The way they have the roster lined up right now, they built throughout the draft, they built throughout free agency. Optic has been on top for a long time, and simply put, Chris, the reason they remain on top is great business decisions, great drafting, and great talent evaluate personnel administrative decisions. So the way Optic remains on top is they keep drafting well, evaluating talent well, and they will always remain on top of the draft board as long as they have Duho Moorhead there running the show. But if he ever leaves Optic, it's going to be a long time coming that Optic will have to rebuild from the ground up, Chris.